have now received my weekly personal rings inserts from Sterling Ink. They are the Flex Layout week on 2 pages. Really interested in trying this out. And it is on the Cosmo Airlight paper, which is also new for this year. So this is deco for lazy people. I used the postcard that came with the goodies and it fits exactly in my front pocket. This is an N1 calendar card from last year that I very reluctantly trimmed down and rounded the corners. I didn't want to lose too much of Catherine's artwork, so it's technically a little longer than the personal insert, but it's the cover. So let's have a look. Let's just put these. Okay, I'm going to snip these right away because I got the gold edges too, I should have mentioned. I like to avoid opening and closing my rings all the time. So for something like a planner, I just snip these and stick them in this way. In fact, I'll just do the front ones. This is cardstock, and this is designed to, it's very nice, thick cardstock. It's designed to act as a divider, if you like. I did not buy the weekly and monthly inserts because I felt that I didn't buy the daily and monthly inserts because of the way I use my rings. It's just everyday planning. However, they were also released. What I've done is I've just done the start here, and I'll leave a little gap in between. Oops, didn't pick that up correctly. There we go. So they just sneak in like that, and then I'm going to sit these in here, and there was my weekly divider. I will put that in when I open up my rings. So it starts with a blank grid. This paper feels really nice. It's you can feel it's a little thicker than the Tomoe River, but not a huge amount, and you can feel that kind of film on top. This is the Flex Layout where you have the option to use horizontal days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and there is a tiny little very hidden timeline. It's in 6 a.m. goes to noon, 12, then continues on in non-military time, 1 through 12. So it goes from 6 a.m. till midnight. And there's grid through all of this. However, the flex part comes in because this is also a horizontal format that's overlaid, and it's got Monday through Sunday across here. No time stamps for this side, but what would happen is then you could use this side just for your blank notes page, which is the standard horizontal layout, or you could do a combination. There is a vertical bar separating the top. I know that's different than the A5 size, which has a slightly different, there's more space, so it's a slightly different configuration, more spaced out. You can see that the month is listed here, and if I went through to February, so if you can see when it's crossing over, you get that. But January, the month you're in is listed on top. Here we're crossing over 2 weeks for the last week of December, first week of January. It says December 1, 2025 to 2026, and the weeks are listed, week 1. You get the days as well as the dates, and then there's that standard grid, Sterling Ink on the sidebar, and that will continue on week by week. That is I'm just really excited to try lots of different layouts. So I'm not typically a rings person, but I have been moving around in my everyday planning for use at home. So I'm going to snip the rest of these off camera, but I continued through to, I started at the end. So we had October, oh, I'm sure this is me. Let me see here. I'm sure I must have slipped it wrong. Let's see here. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have a look at that. Interesting. I know I was moving. Oh, here they are. Yeah, I knew that wouldn't be Catherine. Okay, so I was putting things everywhere. My mistake. There we go. So that goes from I haven't snipped October 12th, and then 15th goes on. 11 November, and then we get through December. This was supposed to make it efficient to show you just the end. And there we go. We're into the second last week of December, same pattern continuing, and then December to January 2026 to 2027, and the 1st of January 2027 starts on a Friday. So that continues there, and then you get one blank grid page. So the gold edges are so pretty. I'm excited for that to be, I mean, this is not even put in properly, and that will be peeking out the top. You can see the difference with what I have. I just think that is so beautiful. I have to say that in itself sells me, but the layout is stunning. And so I'm thinking about using both sides for kind of, important events happening in the day, using the sidebar for things like, if you get the public holiday, writing that in. I like not having holidays in this planner because it means that you're allowed to choose what suits you. So for example, even when there are the public holidays, for even if it's in the right country for you, which is often not the case with planners, sometimes you don't get all the public holidays, and then the last thing you want is a reminder, for me anyway. So I like being able to choose what I want. The other thing about the rings is that I am someone who likes to turn my book sideways. And I'm so excited that I'll be able to write in things sideways, and it means I never have the rings interfering with my writing. It will bother some people to have to look at this, see writing to the side, and if you're particular about things like that, that's going to really bother you. And especially this part, because for my system, I like to then turn the book this way, which you can imagine it's the opposite direction. The writing is going to be upside down on this side then, so that I can avoid the rings again. It doesn't bother me because it means that I am free to write. And, there are pros and cons of bookbinding versus rings. One of the things I like for every day is I have a section. My next section is, this is my high tide calendar. I've shown it previously, but this is A6, so that's why the size looks funny, but I pulled it apart, and that's in there for the rest of the year with my everyday planning, but trying to combine it with rings. And then I have a notes section here, which basically it's handwritten notes. I take it from, this is a Rhodia desk pad or spiral bound pad that I use a guillotine to cut my pages and punch it with you can buy a rings hole punch that can be adjusted for various ring sizes. And so that means that I can freely use this paper. I really like that. I can then just take it out when that note's finished. If I don't need to keep it, or the stuff I need to keep, I can keep handy, unlike a book bound. So that, and then also I love this dot or grid, because I'm free to just write this way. And then when I'm on the other side, I can write this way. So the final thing that I'm excited to try, and I'm contemplating trying it. I don't normally crack open my planners until the first day of the year, the new year. I'm that person that can't turn the calendar ahead of the month, when you have those wall calendars. And so that's why Catherine's system of with her complete planner having the duplicated pages is good for me, because I know if she chose to put the new month, the last week of the new month, in the the new month, if this makes sense to anyone following that side of things, I would be saying, oh no, I can't go into the new month yet. So yeah, I think I'll try putting in, there's a quasi holiday that, and this is the kind of thing that I like being able to try out. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna put in my typewriter, and I think it's gonna be, this is not the most glamorous typewriter, but it has a small font size. So sorry about the camera moving there. So let's see, I'm gonna we'll see, we're gonna learn together, unless some of you are already doing this, but I'm excited that I can take a page out, unlike a book bound planner. Let's see how that goes. I'm gonna try and write on the horizontal side, and there is something that I like to highlight. Here we go. Okay, so I am gonna write in here. I don't know if I should be zooming in here. Let's see. Sorry about the noise for those of you who might be listening. I'm gonna put it into, let's see. Okay. So Australian New Year's Day is the day before, and I've got family in Australia. So I always like to remind myself, Australian, I think that's gonna fit here. New Year's. Okay, I'm gonna just do that. So it's just a tiny little mark, but you can see here, let me pull it out. Now I've been able to type on there, and so it doesn't add bulk, although I don't have to worry about adding bulk. The only problem with the typewriter is I didn't line this up, so you can see it's slightly off, and so this is going to bother some people, but I like the look of it being a little imperfect. And I can write a lot more. I plan to put some quotes in to the new months and maybe some highlights. I'll get to try a lot of things, and I will be able to even fit it in, if I want to, in this horizontal configuration, and you can see where I've cut the spine, but that will fit in my typewriter, and I've got the margins set over here, so that will fit easily over here. So that's very exciting. Well, thank you, Catherine, again.